didn't get to Nice or anything like that.
Okay, right.
Morning.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Welcome to, it's not our last meeting, is it? We've actually got an online meeting, all right? But this is our last. Being a member in person, and welcome back, Erin. Would you like to open with the karakia?
I can.
Thank you. Bring your worship.
Thank you.
Kia ora te mai, ki whakapapa te mara te moana, hei huarahi nā tātou e te rangi nei. Aroha atu, aroha mai, tātou e a tātou katoa.
Right, we have please, thank you, Councillor Ash, seconded. I'll set all those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried. Confirmation of the agenda. I see no reason to change the order. Everyone comfortable with the order of the agenda? You move. Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Councillor Ash. Sorry, I thought I did. All those in favour? Sorry, all those in favour? Aye. All those against? Carried. Conflict of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest that need to be declared? There are none. Not aware of any public forum. Next item is the confirmation of our minutes held 12th of June.
I'll move them.
You'll move. Item on the open agenda, item 4.1, Chair's self-evaluation report. Thank you, Councillor Mike. You received one. All right. So what I will do is I will forward our collective comments back to the Chief Executive to forward to the new council. If anyone would like still to participate, it was sent out last week before. That's a refresh sent, and I'll do it before the next meeting. So I'll just defer that for the next meeting, and I accept that you were probably in another time zone with other focus. Right?
Floating in space.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just talk about it, or it had to be in writing?
It's both. So what I would like to see is your comments first. In early October. All right, thank you.
Pleasure.
Okay, right. First item for discussion, 4.2, page 11 to 18, our quarterly debtors report. Thank you, Lanny. We'll take your report as read.
Hello. So a reminder that we're at the beginning of the rates year again. So all of the debt from last year rolled over into the arrears. So that's now showing in the report. The land rates debt is up 240k based on the same time last year, and that we discussed that in previous meetings. We expected that to be the case due to rates increasing. With our bank demand process in July, and we've sent out bank demands for 353 properties. The amount of properties and the amount of debt in that bucket increased this year. That's for anybody who owes last year's rates arrears and that has a mortgage. Also see that multi-freehold land debt has decreased by 459k when we compare it to the same time as last year. well. Some of the water debt is also bank demand debt. And we've got sundry debt sitting at $2 million. Of that debt, 350K is current and the rest is overdue. Holding consents has 83K of the debt on payment arrangement. Resource consent objections are sitting at 45K and sundry debt, we have 40K on payment arrangements.
Just to comment, this rates increases is a New Zealand-wide phenomena, and most of the councils are struggling on it. So my comment or question is more to do with, are we not considering the ratepayers at this stage to the extent possible? Because I've heard from many people that they are getting into a situation of
question in there, but I think there's a comment about, and this committee can't deal with the setting of the rates. That's the council decision and that's already been done. But I think the question I interpreted from that is, if people are finding it unaffordable, what mechanisms does council have available to help people with their spreading their debt and helping them with their
Of people that have mortgages, they get eaten up by the mortgage demand process. Their bank will make the payment for them if they can't make it. And what that means is it gets taken out of one of their accounts and they get left paying last year's rates through their bank and this year's rates as well. There is very little mechanism to help people who can't pay. I feel like what's that money without it getting to the point of judgment in 6 years' time. But the people that are struggling, that have mortgages, there's very little, we don't have a mechanism to stop, because they don't meet the criteria of our postponement and remission policies. So there's nothing that we can do, really.
I don't want to debate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Probably not too much, but I do recall right from all 3 years that we've had, I think this whole matter was one of the first that came up at audit risk and finance meetings, and the concern of what could possibly be done to alleviate the situation. And essentially what you're saying is that nothing more can everything. I did raise a question at the pre-meeting about the rise in other, where our numbers have gone down quite considerably by 20%, but actually the value, the costs have gone up 10%. And there is reference there in the papers to we're seeing a rise in the allo dial or absolutely own. So this is just everyday ratepayers who are not being able to pay their rates or pay them in full, and maybe not even on a payment program.
So in particular, allodial title isn't, you're right, it's not in New Zealand. To what the law is. So we collect on those customers if they have a mortgage, and if they don't, we'll have to wait for it to become to statute barred before we can seal it with a judgment. So so they send multiple emails to us that say, where's my contract? don't contact me. They send couriers, they send trespass notices, they send a lot of correspondence. So that's the bucket of customers that do that.
The Allodial, and then your term sovereign citizens. We're all sovereign citizens.
That's kind of what the group of people are called. That particularly will not pay. They have a lot of meetings, and you can research that online. But that is
The issue.
recently the man in Australia who shot the police officers. He was a sovereign citizen, so they have a different set of beliefs to what the law is.
Are fairly rigid on those sovereign citizens. When you take legal action, you've got to take the legal action to actually get the judgment.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've just got a quick scenario for you. Say I'm a ratepayer who is in the process of selling my house, right? But I can't, and for a variety of reasons, I can't pay the rates. Is there an ability for you to postpone the rates so on the basis that, look, I've acknowledged that there's a debt there, I can't, I've given you financials, so potentially I might be financially constrained, but I might have assets, etc. And when I sell the house, you'll get the rates. Is there anything there that your team do in that respect?
So in that respect, that would not fit the postponement policy. And you also need to be able to pay your current rate. So what we would usually do in cases like that, if there's a mortgage, the mortgagee would take control of that. If there's not, they've got time to try and sort that out. And then we would review the penalties for them if they had kept in contact with us. So we try and help people as much as we can within what our penalty remission policy states. So financially in May and June, then your debt's going to roll over and become arrears pretty quickly and your bank's going to be told. So, but at the beginning of the year, you've kind of got more options to help people out. They've got 12 months to sort things out.
And I think the key thing is you're keeping communication channels open with all these people. That's, the very least.
Thank you, Chair. This is like more of a penalties are incurred the moment the installment is due, and they keep accumulating. So the figure we are talking $250,000 more here. Does it include penalties as well?
Yes.
And to what extent? Because then you waive it. When they pay it, then you waive the penalties, or do you not waive it?
Depends if they fit our penalty remission policy or not. So we try and help people where we can, but we can't. The other category, the debt is higher. Some of that's because we're at the beginning of the rating year as well. We've been under a lot of pressure. We haven't done a lot of proactive collecting on these people, so we haven't been able to put them on a payment arrangement. We haven't proactively asked them, called them, things like that. So there's work to be done in that space when we get time. But there's also a bucket
And then is it the highest rate of penalty in Kaipara, or is it a standard rate of penalty for all over New Zealand?
you set it in your rates.
Yeah. So just clarifying, legally, you can only charge 10% per instalment and also 10% on the amount outstanding as of 1st of July, and if the council so desires. By resolution, when it sets its rates, can alter that, but it's got to be done by resolution.
Yeah.
But
But
can't
we do set them
at 10,
once a year on instalment and then twice a year on the arrears penalty, 10%, yeah.
And I think, Mr Chair, that's been in place here for a long time, since the rate revolt.
it's been,
We had,
it's been in place, probably that. Inflation, I haven't looked for anything further past the 1956 legislation. There was a change in 87, which was a replica of the 56 legislation. But yes, that's standard. All right, any further questions? All right, so we go back to the resolution. Mike, second the councillor Aaron. Any further discussion? All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Next item is the finance report, item 4.3, pages 19 to 44. Thanks,
Thank you.
Jessie.
So just the normal report that comes to you here, the June figures that we reported to council. I've reran the June numbers for you. When this report was written for the council meeting in July, we were barely beginning our annual report work. We're almost to the end of that now. So the attachments where you're seeing the statement of comprehensive revenue and expense, that's a more accurate finalised picture for June. We are still in the middle of annual report, so we're still yet to finalise. Finished. We otherwise are mostly finished in the numbers, obviously revaluations to come, but those numbers are more final. So I think things that I'll point out, and we will talk about some of this a bit later and some of the other items, is your activity incomes that are 1.5 million behind budget. So a million of that is actually in your building consents. Or under budget when it comes to investments and finance costs, 1.7 million there. And obviously we used that money in the annual plan. We repurposed it, so we didn't need to increase rates. So that's means we've not gone over. We had the excess there that we used. So we didn't need to increase rates, but otherwise I'm just happy to take questions if you've got any.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Thank you, councillor.
Thank you, Chair. Just right, the first item.
Page number?
Well, we can start with number one, spaces and facilities, just for example. Yeah. It's page 2 out of 8. Yeah. Page 2 out of 8 of the PDF, I guess. So it says open spaces and facilities carryover project summary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the PMO's summary. That's where they have said
you can say I'm moaning and groaning, but if you look at the red flags, they are all in Dargaville, Chinopai, Pine Beach, Kahu River, and to be honest, they are there for years. So why the focus is not, I mean, I'm not going into a discussion on that, but some of the projects which are on execution stage, starting with number 2, or even starting with 1, go on. Like jumping or fast tracked. Why is that? I would like to know, because like Alaman Prison, they were not even there 2 years ago.
I mean, my personal view is that projects should be prioritised according to need. Sometimes they're prioritised according to when it's to get in there and least impact.
But
The
that
community, I have no idea how these are being
I
prioritised.
mean, my question is, someone. We can comment on it, I don't know.
Are you talking about the capital expenditure?
I am talking about open spaces carryover projects.
This is on
He's
page,
concerned that the fact at risk.
so this is on page 36 of the agenda, which was the PMO report. That's what I'm assuming. Huh?
I can talk to the at-risk project at the Tahoe Domain, if you'd like. That's one that I am.
So, so I think this is only, council's already received this, already debated it. So I just wonder what's the point in actually,
There is no point.
There is no point. We've been well briefed on all the projects, where the money is. It's just electioneering from councillor Nair.
Well, I take objection to that, Chair.
well, sorry, the question is, my comment is, financial impact, because that's the role of this committee. This committee is not charged with setting the priority or the delivery. Our focus of this committee is on the financial impact. So I'm very happy that we take questions on financial impact, but if we're debating and questioning the priority of projects, that is a council or another committee function, and therefore you're questioning elsewhere, councillor.
No, I agree.
No, I'm sorry.
I agree. I agree with that. All I'm saying is, even with blindfolded, we can see red flags only on 3 things.
Well, that's fine, but we can't debate it here. So,
Okay, thank you, sir.
thank you. All right, any other questions on the financial impact? So I've got a couple, Jesse, right, just because we haven't finished the revaluation. The other question I have is probably associated with depreciation, is that lovely long word complicated by impairment. Obviously, that would also need to be included as part of that. Last question is, you highlighted that the building activity is down. And when you look at the stats further on in the agenda, that's been a for this coming financial year as well. So putting our risk hat on, there is a risk there that we won't achieve budget again this year.
Yes. Another risk to discuss as well, around, I've got a handout for you around the building activity that I'll talk about when we talk about our internal audit program.
Yeah.
But there are some increasing risks in that area as well.
Okay, so we just flag that.
On that, in terms of, we've had some discussion about the growth projections and things like that and what the ultimate impact might happen, although we don't have, as far as I'm aware, a forward-looking projection on what will happen with growth.
Well, I think, you know, I'm happy to entertain that comment / question because it has significant financial. But the impact of the current government's stock plan, so the council can't open any more land up for subdivision if they wanted to without getting an exemption for a district plan, and the government passed the legislation in 20th of August, announced it in July, and the exemptions haven't still been and give us some support for the council's growth. Can't do it. They've been hamstrung.
We're well aware.
I know you're all aware, right? Maybe that was a political statement. My last, if there's no further questions on the financials, just a question on page 24 of the report, where you actually break down the general rate and expenditure. I assume it's by that little, that.
The elected members have been asked
Okay,
for that.
okay, cool. Right, thank you. All right, thank you. Asked and answered. Right, any further questions on the financials? So do I have a mover that committee notes the financial report? Councillor Aaron, seconded Councillor Mike. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
It's carried. Thank you. Eight, our Treasury report. Thank you, Julia. Take your report as read, but is there any key highlights, further information you want to bring to the committee?
Sure, thank you. Kia ora, ko Julia Aho. I present to you the Treasury report for the period ended June 2025. Really, I just wanted to update you on the financial position of Council. LGFA financial covenants. They're on page 2 of the report. I don't know what page that is in your big document, but they prove that we are compliant with our Treasury policy, and that they prove the ability for us to pay our debt and also net interest payments. Our external debt remains at in our on-call account. It's attracting 3% interest, which is the same as the OCR rate, the official cash rate. As the capital works programme is continuing, it's prudent to keep as many funds available in order to pay for these works. And just a little bit on the OCR, as expected, earlier in August. Inflation's currently at 2.7%, which is the top end of the RBNZ's target range of 1 to 3%. And unemployment is at its highest since 2020 at 5.2%. So, and it's projected to increase to 5.4%. So if inflation continues to ease, and effectively concluded that the OCR is likely to drop to 2.5% by the end of the year. So this is signalling a dovish behaviour, and that's best described as a willingness to cut the OCR further if needed to support the economy, especially if unemployment's rising and inflation's under control. In August of the OCR reduction. It reflects the market's interpretation of the RBNZ's dovish approach. And there was also a split decision within the RBNZ committee. It was voted 4-2 to reduce the OCR. There were 2 members that were preferring a much larger reduction of 50 basis points. With NZ exports, especially in agriculture and tourism. This is expected to drive recovery within New Zealand. It's worth noting that while our stance here in New Zealand is more aligned with global easing trends, it is also vulnerable to external shocks, such as US trade policy. Aside from this, all else remains as reported in the report.
Chair, and thank you, Joe. My question is obviously, New Zealand debt to GDP ratio is at 54%, right? It was 32% about 5 years ago. The KDC ratio, what we are trying to achieve is trying to how far question is, as a council who could not pay 1 cent of their 44 million debt for 12 years, what capability or moral obligation we have to ratepayers to borrow?
Okay, question. That's actually a council decision that should be discussed at an annual plan. This is actually about monitoring our debt. It's actually, again, we are within the policy of the debt limits. There is no indication we're going outside those debt limits. It's not a role of this committee to debate what is effect is the financial strategy that the council has already adopted.
Through the chair, we have plenty, we are way below our debt ceiling. And in addition, we are way below where we plan to be on our debt at the end of it's done, it'll be gone.
And I say, no. The issue is, right, council has already set its debt limit. You made an accusation that council can't afford to repay its debt. Well, in fact, the amount of capital works you're doing, you're actually doing really well to hold your debt level where it is. I know councils who have actually got smaller councils that have done a lot of capital works that have got a significantly higher.
I make a statement then before I say yes to it.
You can make one. Is it in respect of this report, not in respect of the
No, it's just in respect of this report. Yeah. So first, a question, a clarification actually. So this net debt, is it taking in line what money you have in the bank? So you have $30 million in the bank for unfinished project, and then you have a debt. So
account the cash balance of 20 million, not 30.
sorry, whatever it is. So all I'm saying, we are fooling ourselves. It's not reported well because that's people's money.
It is reported
It is reported.
in the net debt
Can I?
Okay, I make the statement.
No.
ratio.
No.
I have to make a statement then.
Well, the issue is, what's the statement in respect of? Is it in respect of the report? Is it in respect of the financial position of council?
Understand that, sir. My statement is just in.
It can't be now. If it's a political statement,
It's not a political statement. It is based on the role of Audit and Finance Committee.
Fine.
I'm the chair, so I'm making this statement for you. You are very well versed, you are chartered accountant. So my statement is to say that the role of Audit and Finance Committee is to look at the red flags.
Yes.
And not as a I would like to leave this committee because they're not performing. Ombudsman has actually went. No, let me finish. Ombudsman has actually went to one of the council and said, so much work and so much things have been done in private, public.
well, excuse me. We are an open. That ombudsman comment has got nothing to do with this committee.
Nothing to do with this committee, but sir, what I'm.
No. And if you'd like to leave, right? Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
But I'm not saying yes to this. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Thank you. You can vote against it. Right. Any further questions on this? Just one last question, just to let see, not completely off the. the facility that we've got of $10 million, which we
Twenty-nine,
29,
yes.
what's the cost? Can you remember that off the top of your head? Was that, I should have asked you.
In my head, I think the margin is 1.04%
As a line fee,
as a line fee.
which is relatively cheap.
Okay,
Okay, it's relatively, it's good insurance.
yeah,
That's just to have it,
Yep,
get the facility. Yep.
facility, it's a facility.
we need,
No,
a couple of years.
Thanks,
Councillor.
No, I think that, everything is actually very, very clear in the report, and I agree with the chair that I think we're doing damn well. I do have one little question though, if I may,
Absolutely.
and it's relating to the rates and where we're at. When we borrow from the LGFA, we get a little margin. There is no benefit. Is that right? Other than,
Through the,
the OCR rate. We pay the base. What do when we deposit money, we get 3%,
Yes,
right? That's the OCR.
yes,
Okay.
yes. We're the capital works programme is continuing, and it's hard to forecast when works are going to be completed and we'll need the money. So if we have to break those term deposits, there's really no gain in having them in the first place.
Okay. All right, thank you. So we've got no further questions. We've got a recommendation that the mayor. Any further discussion? All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Would you like your vote recorded?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Julia. Next item is 4.5, page 49 to 62 on the agenda. The assessment report on the food and
Good morning. So I take the report as read.
thank you.
Yes, we had our full JASN's assessment on our quality assurance system for the health on May the 7th, and overall the outcome was excellent with no findings and 2 minor observations, which we've since
Just a very minor one, right? I note that the report was actually highlighted from Jazz. Who was it?
JASN's.
Jazz, right? Was commercially sensitive at the top. Has that been released? No.
No.
At the top of it, they say it's in commercial sensitive. Just. Is all right. But I think no, good report. Then basically what we're saying in terms. Okay.
Well done.
Well done. All right. So you're happy to move, are you, Councillor Aaron? Right. Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Mike. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Next item, point 6, page 63 onwards, health, safety and wellbeing update. Thank you, Jonathan. Take your report. Want to bring to the committee?
And through the chair, I just, from some feedback from our last meeting, just wanted to talk about some of the audits and trying to increase from one question in the parks audit. So we're working with the contractor there on page 64. It's a bit of a work in progress, but we're using their system to try and up our audits in the parks area. So we're auditing them, the contractors themselves, rather than looking at the park. So I've started auditing service requests that have a safety component and having a look whether they've been closed out within that period. And for the quarter we're talking about, we've closed out all bar two. The safety issues on those had been sorted though. There's still some outstanding issues. So just adding that into the report from our last meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I do. Why does staff, when we look at page 6 of your report,
Page 6, yep.
by examination, I was interested to understand more about why staff don't appear to be taking eye examinations. I realise there could be some logical reasons for it, but I mean, it is a facility that we're offering. And, you know, when you're desk bound or
help people with their well-being, and that's one of our focus points as well. And it's a small amount. It's about $30 per person. We are advertising, is that the right word? On
voting.
Focusing that on our intranet, so we have the choice to take that up. We've had about 3 in the last so weeks, but not everybody's taking that up. So might.
We want to look after that.
Absolutely.
Just a question.
I think oops, almost here, Craig.
I just with the push by central government to try and pull back on some of the use of cones, etc. Is that impacting how you're applying to do it? Through the chair, not specifically my team. Traffic down, and there's a reason for them. And counting them, I don't think is a great time. But it's if they're being used properly, they're a good tool. I'd suggest, yeah.
I'm pleased you prefaced it by if they're used appropriately, right?
Yes.
If a cone's been sitting there for 6 months and no road works, it's probably not been.
It's not helping anybody if it.
No, it's actually.
That's working against.
I think that's.
Management certainly becomes in terms of the cost of spending.
There's a balance. Councillor Ash, and then I've got Councillor Petter online.
Thank you, Chair. No, just a question based on, because you have been there for a long time. Have you seen any improvements in terms of our practices? Because there was an issue earlier on that council is becoming too nosy in.
Through the chair, I've seen some improvement in the way we operate with some of our contractors. We have built relationships now with some key contractors with the health and safety team, and we're going out and auditing side by side with them. I don't think they think we're being nosy. We're in partnership.
Good.
And we are getting some results. And I think those audits together, we're seeing stuff together, so we're getting items fixed, and we're seeing less incidents.
We are entitled to be nosy because we are the PCBU. And while, yes, they have got a shared risk, if they actually have got a failed health and safety plan and we don't, and we think there is and we don't do anything about it, or we don't know about it, then we are also liable and potentially the chief executive can go to jail. Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Petter online, thank you.
Morena koutou, I just wanted to touch on the previous point around the lack of uptake in the optometry checks. What I wanted to say is that mostly in instances such as this, it's not actually given practical effects. So when you think about Dargaville, for example, we don't have any optometry. Staff would have to travel to Whangarei to take that up. So that package really needs to include, 2 to 3 hours off for staff to actually make their way over to have the eye appointment, or set up a day for the optometrist similar to what the schools do, and bring them over to the offices to work through their way through the staff. So that's something that I think that we should pass on to the CEO. It's all, yeah, as I say, all well and good having it there, but to give practical effect to it is to try and bring the distance between the optometrists and the staff closer together.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair, that's a great response. I think we can.
Would be
Yep.
already able to be done.
Councillor Erin, yep, absolutely, thank you.
I have a question in regards to the, what page am I on? 71 of the report. And it's all the KDC incidents that are being reported. And there's the psychosocial harm, the 6 reports of the stress and anxiety levels. Do you have any update on, it just says it's with ET. Is there any update on?
There, various support has been provided to those people that have made reports, including we office at EAP and our safety reps. A lot of the staff go direct to their safety rep within their area, so it stays confidential with them, and they've been getting provided support.
Okay, is there any concern that with 6 reports, there's actually a lot more that possibly hasn't been reported?
To report, and in our new safety system that we have, there is the ability to tick confidential so that no one else knows who the actual reportee is. But we do ask them to reach out for help. So sometimes they do need to ask the right people, and we'll give them the support.
The reason I'm asking is because I may have missed it, but I haven't noticed such a high level. A proactive approach with trying to manage, because we know from what the staff are telling us that they are under immense pressure. So just leave that with the team.
Thank you. Any further questions? I've got one, also actually on page 3 of your report, page 69 of the agenda. I do like your table, very good. Right? I'll try and tell other councils to replicate that. And June quarter, number of audits. We seem to have 3 areas that no audits were provided. Was there a reason for that? This question. That was the water ops, the waste minimisation and assets, where there were previous audits done previously. Just we've got some empty boxes.
Not at the top of my head.
We actually did more total audits, is probably a good thing, because we did, well, you did 49 compared with, in the previous quarter, and you did 65 in this reporting period, so totally we're up, right, but just in those areas. The other question I have is in the needs improvement column, where the, you've got a number there that need improvement, and it's do you then do a follow-up audit subsequent?
Yeah, that's a good question. Normally in our next audit, we'd have a look at the corrective actions that came from the previous one to see that that actually closed them out, as long as we are doing another audit.
Yeah, that, so to me is would actually, and we don't have any, we've got one dangerous, right? Which I think was reported back in the previous quarter, I think. But it'd be nice to know, we
Fair. And in some cases, the departments themselves are doing these audits.
Yep.
They do have a spreadsheet, which I've seen. So for waters, for example, have a list of improvement factors, and we've gone through those regularly to get them to close those out.
But no, but thank you.
Thank you.
It's a it's good information because our job is to get assurance that health.
If I may make a comment to that, Mr. Chair, just further, it's actually very pleasing to see that the number of total audits, the lowest at 35 for that current quarter. So, of those, then there's there's a good proportion of the high standard.
And
the more we're looking, the things get fixed if they're being looked at.
Yeah. Well, and rectified for long term.
Yeah.
all right. Good. So no further questions or comments. Do I have a mover for recommendation? Thank you, Mayor Craig. Second, Councillor Mike. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you very much. Insurance policy renewal update. Thank you, Jessie.
Thank you, Chair. So this is just a little update on our insurance policy renewal. So we renew our insurance policies on the 1st of November. We do a lot of work coming up to the 1st of July where we have to give schedules and updated insurance values. It's been, well, firstly, good news for council, soft market there, and our ratepayers as well in a positive way. There's a little bit of interesting stuff going on with our insurance in regards to our claims liabilities. We now pulled some of the other councils from an insurance perspective, and we have a liability cap of 45 million across the 30 something councils, I think, that we're pulled with. Million in a single year, so I don't think that's a very high risk that will not be able to get payouts for claims that we're entitled to, but just drawing it to your attention. And then just to note on the process that we're doing this year with the renewals, we haven't done insurance renewal revaluations for any of our assets, I don't think, and probably ever. So that is a focus. So what we've done is, to date for the renewals, we have gotten our toilets and our pensioner houses. We've worked out those values because we've just got new construction around on those ones, so we were able to give a good value for those ones. And then we are in the process of get some insurance valuations for all of our high risk assets. So that's all our council buildings and our hopefully within the next 6 months. And if it does change our insurance profile or, the insurance company will just bill us for any difference or credit us for any difference, because it could very well be that we are even insured too highly as well. So that was it. If I've got any questions?
Any questions? A question, but probably Yep, that one, yes. That you're saying is the expectation is that your material damage right, is likely to go down. That's what, right? I assume that's what it.
Yes,
it is.
material damage.
Yep, is the first one. The motor is down, remaining line items down, but liabilities plus 5%. And again, from the broker, and whether you've got anything further you'd like to elaborate on.
I have talked to her about it, but it was a little while ago. But essentially, I think some big insurers are pulling out of those markets. They've been stung, I believe. There's been some things going through the High Court, to the Supreme Court, back again. Then they keep reversing the decisions, and then I can't remember quite the. The risk pool now, but essentially the insurers themselves feel that it's too risky and don't want to be part of the market so much, and that's why that one's going up.
Yep.
Just clarification to the chair.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Jesse, like we are coming into lot of claims by the ratepayers at this stage, as well as I know, on like their tires get punctured. They are accepting those claims. Do we have provision for accepting under our insurance policy those kind of claims?
No, those claims are covered by the individual's insurance, and I actually will be able to talk about that in our claims update later on in PEPs.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Yep.
If I may, Mr Chair, just elaborate before we get to the claims part. By the transport downers who actually have themselves covered all of those claims for those tyres, and you were told about that yesterday, so I don't know how you don't remember.
Okay, thank you. Oh, all right. Yeah. Right. Okay, so I think we might talk about the government policy. Potentially our next item, updates in terms of policies updates, not a policy yet of government, but they've talked about changing the Building Act and saying is the council won't be, from a certain date, won't be the last man standing, and that's potentially the problem that we have, is that the council is seen to be the easy, slow-moving target with deep pockets. That's all I'll say on that matter. All right, thank you. For the recommendation that we note the insurance policy and update for August. Thank you, Councillor Mike. Do I have a seconder? I'll second it. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, carried. Next item, page 85, 4.8, policies, bylaws and updates. Thank you, team.
Morning, Chair.
Bing.
I think this is the first time we've actually presented in person for.
I know.
Here today. So I'm Catherine for the Chair's benefit, and Nina, our new. So this is Virginia's replacement. So I thought
welcome
for us to be here today. So thanks for having us. So Nina's just going to give a quick update, and I'll talk about the development contributions policy and anything else that you would like to ask, Chair.
We're keeping a watching brief over, so there's quite a few legislative changes happening at the government, central government space, and that has some implications which of course the council is having to keep a close eye on in terms of our operations, particularly in terms of going forward and planning the planning spaces. And in terms of our 12-month rolling review, all the teams are aware of all of the policies. But we do have quite a bit happening in the developer contributions at the moment. So Catherine will give you a bit of an update on that and happy to take questions.
Thank you. Yes, any questions? No, we have, right, thank you. So Catherine, launch into your DC stuff.
Right, yes, it's been a very busy couple of months for our team, as the elected members know. They're probably sick of seeing me here. But the new option for the mummified treatment plant to be included over a 10-year timeframe instead of a 5-year timeframe. Staff had suggested that we needed to reconsult with the community if the panel chose that option, and council approved the paperwork for us to do that. So we've just done a round of 2 weeks of consultation. We've got 6 submissions which are going to be heard this afternoon, and then we've got turnaround with deliberations happening next. All going well, if that does get approved and adopted, we'll be looking at implementing the DC's policy probably around December that we could put that in place. And I guess recognising it's been a challenging piece of work just because we are mid-cycle with the LTP, but it puts us in good stead next time we do the LTP round. And obviously there's a lot of changes coming from central government which may have varying but that's where we're at the moment. Got any specific questions on that? Happy to dive into any detail.
Yeah, unfortunately for my sins, I know a little about the development levy proposal. I've done a little bit of digging on that, and it's quite a high risk. So in case elected members, you want me to brief?
Yeah.
All right. Well, so this was announced at the local government project, where they're looking at getting rid of development contributions and replacing it with development levies. And when you look at the background information, it's all about the very large developments that are happening. That's where they want, and they will have a standard regime, which they haven't worked, they're busy working through, which will be applied basically across the country. On the balance of whether the development levy would be appropriate. For example, if a developer is doing a large development, and I would say generally it's around the 100 lot, it would work. Anything smaller, anything between 50 and 100 may or may not work. Anything less than 50 lots, it won't work. That's and I had this discussion with DIA at the LGNZ conference, and they concluded it's not designed to work. Where does it leave the smaller, the non-Auckland, Hamilton, Tauranga, Queenstown, Selwyn? Where does it leave them? Oh, we're suggesting that they use financial contributions under the RMA, and I go, oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Interesting response.
Interesting, yeah. But you know, the devil will be in the detail, which we're yet to see. I don't think that's, unless you've got any further information on that draft bill. No, I'll have to see you whisper. Sorry?
Zero.
Yeah.
It's very, very quiet. We're on the back foot, even with the RMA legislation that just popped out. Know about that either.
Oh, no one knew about that. That is what everyone, absolutely.
Yeah.
So to me is, we've got, this is a political statement. Slightly different agendas trying to drive different outcomes. And doesn't appear to be any linked up decision-making and understanding the consequences. And, you might have heard that the plan stop, that has caught a significant number of councils out, right? I'm aware of a couple that had notified, but dollars for councils. But also, the annoying thing was that the minister, again in July, at the local government conference, said he was going to have exemptions available. I don't believe these.
Yeah, just, I'm not sure if you're aware,
I'm aware of your situation.
ourselves.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, I'm aware. It's more of a
Knee-jerk reaction.
absolute, a very good knee-jerk reaction. I'm aware of your. Of government announcing changes without actually being ready for it and basically saying stop without actually understanding the consequences.
Exactly.
So you've probably dodged a bullet.
For now.
For now, yes. Yes, catch up. Yeah.
So through the chair, just another quick comment in regards to your statement about the DIA announcing that they're looking at financial contributions. But there are lots of submissions on those as well. So it's going to be quite interesting to see where we are in the next kind of 2 to 3 years on that, as well as the DC policy.
Mayor Craig, thank you.
Because I've been following the process very closely. It's you're no, Catherine. The plan that we've proposed actually fits really nicely with what the coalition wants. So, it's nice to still progress.
So just on that, right, you as you say, you dodged, but I was at a council yesterday and they were going to open up some more housing to support an expanded defence base. And because they hadn't got through the process, they can no longer move on that district plan change, which actually opens more housing. That conversation isn't happening at central government.
Yeah.
So
Just a question, sorry. Going into the discussion of development levy and development contribution, because as you said, it's a national issue. Being a banker, I'm quite concerned in terms of how development contributions are actually calculated and imposed in the decide on that basis the amount of development contribution in each region, right?
Yeah.
So as you know, our western area is not developing, so they end up with a minus kind of situation and nothing happens there. It's like chicken and egg kind of situation. Would it be possible to have a mechanism where development contributions are based on, like in Australia and all, like first the infrastructure,
going through due process, so I think I'm commenting on it now.
no, I'm asking that.
No, can I just finish?
Yeah.
Is actually potentially, you've got to be careful of due process, right? If we're actually in a hearings decision-making, I think it would be very unwise for council staff to answer that question with the current, where we are currently.
Yeah, I'll hold it. Thank
right?
you.
Wait.
I can wait, yeah.
Wait, absolutely. Right. Right, I think we've talked about development contributions. Are there any other questions on the report? No other? Oh, okay. I just got my last one is while we've got rid of the wellbeings before, right? I don't see it, particularly for this council, we're a basics council anyway. I don't see any particular risk there. What I see as a risk is they also, as part of that bill, announced the rates cap. So I think that's, and where that's going to land and how that's going to land is going to be a challenge for all councils, because we no other questions or comments? Thank you for the report. So we've got a recommendation there that we note and accepts the policies bylaws update. Do I have a mover?
Yep.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Mike. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, aye. Is the regulatory compliance update 4.9, page 89 to 94. Thank you, Jessie, in your acting role.
Thank you. Yeah. So yes, this is a pretty standardised report you guys receive every time, just reporting on the consent numbers. As discussed earlier, the building consent numbers are coming down. They were quite high around and before COVID. Number of developments in Mangawhai, so we will see some things trickle through, especially in the next couple of years if those RMA things do in fact make it easier to build. But aside from that, I think the only thing I was going to point out was the Section 17A compliance and what we're doing to review our costs and functions in those areas. So just pointing that out.
Yeah.
I was taking questions.
I have read the agenda, but I'm wondering whether I missed it. Is it in here? Do we have groups of where the consents are being issued? You talked about Mangawhai being high, but are we getting consistent consents throughout the district?
Oh, no, I don't have that information to hand, but I'm sure the building manager will have actually background. Do you know?
Yeah, I think it's the central part. Number the central portion is kind of consistent, but yeah, other than that, like, yeah, it's kind of down.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's a real interest to me because I'm looking forward to seeing an uptick in other areas of. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other, Councillor Ash, thank you.
Yeah, I think mine was on this. There were two things, obviously. One is you have mentioned, and number two is pensioner housing. And there is no section 17A on that, and we are proposing to do it, right? So nothing is happening at the moment, right? Number two, pensioner housing, community housing, Dagaville Mangawhai. And it's a forward plan is next year, right?
Properties, I believe. Our procurement manager is looking after that for council.
And the second one is on solid waste, which is like a big issue. You mentioned it was done in last 21, which is like 5 years now. And a lot of residents are questioning that. Do we have a hope of doing something on that?
That's a council decision that you can make in your annual plans and long-term plans.
But it doesn't affect the contract because there's an existing contract on that, isn't it?
That must be, yes, sorry, I wasn't sure about what your question was asking. They must be looking at that contract and seeing that it's delivering what it's supposed to and it's cost effective and all those things.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just Any other questions? I mean, just a probably potential question / observation. So I note that flat.
Yep.
So are we and this is going to have more land available for housing in terms of the stock that we've actually got, which is what the government wants, that they want more land open compared with the number of houses being built. And I think I'm getting a nod from, all right? So that's, okay. The other question I have is on page the infringement notice for the toilet wastewater, the second last paragraph in your report. Is there a major risk with that, apart from when, in terms of the infringement notice?
Yes, this is actually coming up in our risk report later as well. So yes, it is a risk.
So it might require some financial investment, and some investment that will require some financial expenditure, right? All right, okay. Any further questions or comments?
Just one clarification through the chair. So the wastewater, we have not only Mangatroto, we also have in Mangawhai, the Browns Road irrigation dam. And that's the first item on it. Source consents pump station overflows. Page 5 bottom. Yeah. Do you have any comment on that?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Not the infrastructure.
I'm not infrastructure. However, yeah, no, I don't.
There's none there who can comment.
On Brown Road, I can comment that it's, we've done some work in that space and the odour problems are resolved. It's just managed at the moment.
I'm just reading on the resource consent application. Yes, we've got a consent, and the issue is, and a consent will expire, and you actually then lodge a new consent, and there is provision in the RMA if you have actually lodged a new consent for something that there is actually no penalty for having. Here, that we note the regulatory compliance update, September 25 report. Can I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Aaron. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Ash. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Carried. Next item, 10.4, past audit recommendations, page 95 onwards.
Audit points and how we're going on them and what those risk levels are. Talked to most of these. Some of the cool things that I would like to point out is the building consent deferral calculation that we've redone. It's giving us some really good information that I'll talk to you about later in our internal audit report. But otherwise, I'm just happy to take questions, essentially.
I've got one, and maybe it's me being pedantic reading the agenda. I think page 102, page is frozen on me. We've got, it was due for an update in June 25, which was a few months ago, and it's still yellow. It's in progress, procurement findings. Do you want to comment on that?
Passionately keen. We are waiting for staff members to be hired.
So
on
that's
those.
the, what I was going to say, so
Yeah.
the roadblock is we don't have enough resources.
Yeah, there's supposed to be another person that is a vacant position that we have right now. However, the procurement manager has done a lot of work on the processes, as in making sure people know what they're supposed to do, and templates, and a lot of training in-house. So there has been some good work in that space. We just don't have any internal controls. Sure, most of the time it's fine, but we don't know because we don't go and look.
Yeah.
And we don't control it.
Thank you, Chair. Again, I mean, it's a question related to here, and obviously if you don't wanna look at that, that's your call. In the
I
construction,
think that's actually quite fair. She's right.
no, page 1 of 11. The first item, the council resolved to forgive the museum loan of 100,000. So as an audit finance committee, do we have any, this is a process issue again, the council can decide anything.
Absolutely, right, that's a debate for council. Yeah.
So is the council can say we don't need the committee?
What, this committee?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
So new triennium, the council,
Yeah.
actually it's up to the mayor to actually say this is a. Thank you. All right, so any further questions? So can I have a mover for the recommendation, please?
Yep.
Thank you, Mayor Craig, seconded councillor Aaron. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. It's carried. Next item is our work plan. Thank you, Jessie, again. This is where you're sitting at the top table. Yeah.
I'll just take that one as read and
That's-
happy to
yeah.
take questions.
Any questions? Oh, I think someone's shouting the bar.
Gonna be a big.
There's a risk with that, right? Okay. No discussion on that. So we're just noting the work plan. I'm happy to move. Do I have a seconder?
Sorry, I did have. The audit.
Going back to the previous item, councillor.
Oh, no, I'm on the, on the work plan,
Oh, page
21.
21.
There's nothing there for the building consent authority audit.
Oh,
I'm not sure why there's no future plan there, but I do know we've passed our recent audits.
can I?
Yeah, you-
I can. It's. No, it's a, sorry. Sorry. Right?
Through the chair, the recent ones that were done in their cycle were very, very good.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
Very, very good.
okay, all right, answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a mover? I'll move. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Mayor Craig. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Can I have a move that councillor Mike seconded? All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Can I suggest that we take a 5-minute recess and reconvene at 11 o'clock?
Thank you.
Thank you.